Hello and welcome back. This is now part 3 because I accidentally just hit the stop button on the phone as we were talking about the area that we were just in. So I will rehash briefly what we are doing. This is part 3 of a walk along the Schuylkill Navigation System towpath from Lock 25 to Port Clinton, Pennsylvania. And we've been following the entire path, and I've been explaining some history about the canal, when it was built, different railroads in the area that may have serviced it. And we left off at this spot right here, which is where the Allentown and Auburn Railroad would have come out of what is a rock cut up in this area. And there would have had to have been a big fill here and then continued that way. But the Allentown and Auburn never came to existence. So with the Schuylkill Canal coming up on a 200-year anniversary, I thought this would be a good time to do a little bit of Schuylkill Canal history as well. So that's what the main focus of this video is, or this series of videos. So now we're going to continue to walk on the towpath. And now this is a kind of a neat spot here because we can really see proof that there was once men working in this area, other than the fact that we do know that this is the route of the Schuylkill Canal, but there's stuff left behind. And again, I've done videos where I've pointed these out, but these are the drill marks that were used, or that were put here when blasting and drilling was done to create the towpath for the mules and boatsmen to walk on. So with the construction beginning, well, incorporation was 1815, construction beginning in around 1820, opening in 1825 officially. Those drill marks could be theoretically from 1820. Depending on when they got up to this point of the canal. I can't believe I hit that stop button on that last video. I really apologize if I've lost some of yous. So what I was talking about in the last video is how the Allentown and Auburn was coming along up here. Again, it was never completed, and minimal work was done in this area, but there's other sections along the canal where down closer to the Hamburg area where there's some incredible retaining walls built. And it makes me wonder, were the canal guys looking at all this happening, all these railroads being built around them, and wondering, is my job in danger? What are these railroads going to do to the canals? I would imagine if I was a canal worker, I'd have been rather stressed out about something like that. For years, your job is secure, and then all these crazy things called railroads are popping up, and you're like, oh no, job may be in danger. So as I mentioned in the last video, we've got a pretty decent amount of ground to cover. So I'm not going to try to talk too much, but I don't want you to be bored either while we're just walking. So I'll try to integrate some facts and information as we walk. So right now the river, as you can see, is quite low because all dams have been removed. Most dams have been removed from the Schuylkill River. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't believe there's any dams remaining, at least north of of Port Clinton. Now there's desilting dams along the Schuylkill River, which were put in the late 40s, early 50s to help with cleaning the river up. There's one in Auburn, Pennsylvania. There's one in technically what is Kernsville, although it's also Hamburg. But I do believe technically they're separate. I think Kernsville is in the borough of Hamburg, but Kernsville might have been its own entity at one point. Again, not 100% sure, and I apologize to any locals if I upset you with that. There used to be also a desilting basin and dam along the Little Schuylkill River near South Tamaqua. That's since been removed. The desilting basins were put in to help clear the river up because the Schuylkill River was quite a mess at one time. And it's made a very, very, very good recovery over the years. But the desilting dams went in to gather up all the coal silt and whatnot that was in the river. And they would dredge it out and actually sometimes put it... Actually, I don't know if they put it in canals. The Reading Railroad at one time dredged the river and dumped some of that waste into the canals. I know that. All right, so we're coming up on a good spot right now. So let's get some information out here. All right, so first let me start by saying that recently I came across a set of maps that were penned by Thomas Gill in 1828. And they're not detailed in the manner that they show you every little thing that's along the canal, but they're detailed in the most perfect way if you're trying to just retrace the simple parts of it. The dams, the locks, the towpath. Remarkable map. I've been lucky enough, I mean, it's online. It's not like it was some great discovery, but I've just recently come across it, and it's really opened up my eyes as to how the whole canal system was working, especially in the area that we've covered over the past couple of weeks. So now we are approaching the section known as mile 18, and here would have been Dam 15, known as Hummel's Dam, and Guard Lock 26, and then Hummel's Canal is the canal that would have been created from the dam being here. So let's go walk around, and there are cool remains here. Okay, so now we're on the towpath. Now the best that I can judge, and it seems pretty cut and dry, but I'll let you decide too, is we are now coming up on what was once Hummel's Dam. And you can see it's towpath going that way. Land is like that. It looks damish, correct? Now, I don't know what this is right here. I'm sure one of you guys will be able to nail this for me. Clearly not part of the canal. Most likely put in whenever the dam was removed, is what I would have to guess. Not really sure. Okay, so towpath. We're on the dam. Here is our lock. So this should be, if I'm not mistaken, this should be guard lock 26. Okay, so let's go down here. Towpath is here. We would have had slack water. River would have been much higher. I was just sent a picture almost immediately after we got done at Tom Lord's Dam that shows that there is still cribbing in the water there, but I was unable to see it today. I was hoping we'd be able to see some here, but it's not the case. This is where Hummel's Dam would have been. Would have gone across the river, across the Schuylkill, causing the slack water that would have gone all the way back to outlet lock 25, where we were a couple videos ago. So as you can see, this goes up a little bit, and so will we. This would have been cribbing, as far as I know. Logs packed with stone. That would have been the dam. But the guard lock would have been attached to that dam. And here we are. Now, it's most likely, well, I don't know. I can't be 100% certain. So this lock is either part of the original build in the 1820s, or it's part of the rebuild in the 1840s. But either way, it's old and unfortunately filled in. They may have filled it in when they removed the dam. But we are definitely standing in a lock. And so when they redid the dam, or when they redid the canal and they renumbered the locks, most of the entrance locks became guard locks and didn't retain a number. This one, being a guard lock, but it's also a lowering lock, retained the number, and that's why it's known as guard lock 26 and not just the guard lock that coincides with the dam. Possible drill mark right there. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Oh, there's a piece of iron in there. So that's a lock stone right there. I hope this mic isn't too overbearing. I also hope you can hear me okay. So now we are in the filled in canal, and right here is our lock 25, not lock 25, I am sorry. Lock 26, guard lock 26, and it would have lowered the boats. And now what we have going in this direction is Hummel's Canal. So just quick recap of the area. This is where our dam would have been, coming across. Guard lock right there. Canal goes this way, lowering the boat, and off we go. So I'm going to wrap up this one, and we are going to continue along Hummel's Lock, making our way back to Port Clinton. Thanks, folks.